The shift in XRP, it's real. You can feel it. And your big money, your smart money, their gears are already turning. We'll see it in the stories today. Money moving in large chunks, getting ready, positioning for what's coming. Now, your everyday investor, they're getting bored. We've been trading sideways a bit. They're getting scared by world events, but not your big players. They understand where this ends, where we are going. We see this news right here. XRP ledger payment volume explodes. Just 24 hours, the XRP ledger saw $4.1 billion in XRP payments, a 1,300% surge from the previous day's 295. This ain't normal, people. That's institutional. Massive moves, transfers between exchanges and institutional wallets. People explain that away, say, well, they're just moving the money around. Yeah, not that many people at once. Yeah, maybe one exchange moves it to a new wallet. They have some new procedures, whatever. But all of this happening at once, yeah, it's going down here. Possible whales repositioning ahead of major announcements. We could have, new services launched. We could have settlements, all sorts of stuff here. Speculation mounting over ETF approvals, broader institutional adoption. The smart money, it's on the move. Are you paying attention? Because most people are not here. Arthur Brittle, this was interesting. He's returned after a 14-year silence on X. A lot of people are like, oh, it's not a big deal. This ain't some riddle stuff, people. This is big time. This is the co-creator of the XRP ledger. Pretty much our version of Satoshi. No one knows anything about him. All of a sudden, he resurfaced. Today, the crypto world was buzzed by a sudden and, very random tweet by Arthur Britto. A simple emoji, a face without a mouth. I took it as he has something to say, something big, and he can't, not yet. He's one of the original masterminds behind Ripple Labs, the company, and also a key architect of the XRP ledger. Britto's silence has been legendary, well, until now. This is the thing. I think it could be two things. It could be a settlement. He knows it's in the bag. He's celebrating it in his own kind of strange way, kind of strange guy. It also could be, remember this, Arthur Britto started a lot of exchanges, and he had a ton of Bitcoin. This guy has upwards of 1 million Bitcoin to my understanding. And I think one of those is Bitstamp, one of the exchanges he started out. We know a massive development's coming with Bitstamp. Bitstamp and Robinhood are building a derivatives exchange on top of the XRP ledger. Maybe he knows something there, and he's kind of, his way of saying, hey, something's coming. That could also, that's what first came to my mind when I saw that tweet today. Again, this is someone that he does no interviews. He doesn't even put his picture out there, never shows his face, but that's what makes his ghostly return all that much more compelling. Now, is this something I would trade off of? No, not at all, but it definitely is interesting, and it could be bigger than most people are admitting. One of the absolute legends and one of the most interesting ones of crypto history, for sure. You're seeing a lot of this speculation out there that Ripple's escrow may be seized by the U.S. government. There's this viral theory saying U.S. government may seize Ripple's escrow and take the XRP for its crypto reserve. And it's causing a lot of waves on X and probably on YouTube videos. I don't know. Legal expert Bill Morgan quickly shut it down with a blunt response. No, it's not going to happen. There's no legal authority to do it, no national security trigger, no legal mechanism for such a seizure. Such a move, if it was attempted, though, what good would it do? Because we could all vote, and essentially the node runners could run up a new chain, and we could start using that chain. We vote by what chain we recognize as having value. And essentially, if the U.S. government did take Ripple's, XRP away, we would just take it back. We would just run a new chain and say, we don't recognize that XRP. We can just give it back to Ripple. Whatever. You can't seize crypto. That's the whole point. It doesn't matter how powerful a government is. You can't get into those wallets. You can't take the money. There's no way to get to it. And if you did, we would just back your transaction out. In that kind of situation, it would call for unwinding such a transaction. Now, could Ripple do deals where they gift some XRP into that reserve? Quite a bit of it? Sure, they could. And it would make some sense to do so. But they're not going to, by force, just take all of Ripple's XRP. That ain't going to happen. It's just kind of silly nonsense, to be honest with you. We've covered this, but RippleX, Guggenheim, big deal there, 10 million tokenization deal in the XRP ledger. It sounds very small, but it's just the start. It's just, the very, early moments of this deal. Ripple announced a strategic partnership with Guggenheim Treasury Services, featuring a $10 million investment in tokenized commercial paper on the XRP ledger, backed by U.S. Treasuries, real-world asset tokenization, where that's where it's at, and it's purchase. You can purchase it with Ripple's new RLUSD stablecoin, and that's good. You want that liquidity, be able to get into it easily and also sell out of it. That's what makes these types of treasuries very attractive. Again, Attorney Bill Morgan saying this is a major win for the XRP ledger. This is what we want to see. Traction with RWAs. All your banks, all your institutions, this is what they're after. Institutional confidence is growing, and the line between TradFi and DeFi just got a lot thinner. This is how utility goes mainstream. That's absolutely correct. Big hack going on right now. You got to be careful. One of the big North Korean hackers, they're targeting crypto job seekers. So you have this notorious group in North Korea, and they're deploying a new malware campaign aimed at stealing crypto wallets and credentials. And the victims, well, they're being tricked. They are fake job applications. You go to apply for this job. They give you some malware disguised as a video driver. You probably think you need it to do some sort of, remote interview of some sort. It targets MetaMask, Phantom, and also OS logins. And this comes just a few months after, of course, they stole $1.5 billion from Bybit, the largest heist in crypto history. And this is what's interesting. Most of those funds that from that huge 1.5 billion hack, they've already laundered out using DEXs and cross-chain bridges. And when it happened, I said, okay, yeah, they got 1.5 billion, but they're not going to be able to do anything with that for years. Oh no, they were able to rip through that really quick. Again, nowadays you have decentralized exchanges, cross-chain bridges. It's a dangerous environment out there. Be careful. And every day they're coming out with something new. Watch what you click. Watch, where you keep your crypto. Anything attached to the internet is very, very dangerous. Solana, they're getting their first layer 2. This is interesting. Everyone's going modular. XRP Ledger built for scale. It's going to have its sidechain, of course. Ethereum has a whole mess of them, right? You have a billion sidechains. And now even Solana, the fast, cheap, scalable, lots of TPS, it's going to have a sidechain as well. Solaxi just wrapped up its pre-sale, raising $57 million to become Solana's first ever layer 2. This is the question. Do you need just one layer 2 or do you need a whole mess of them? They're looking to speed up transactions and cut fees even lower. They're going to bridge Ethereum to bring over liquidity to Solana. They just burned some tokens trying to boost scarcity and boost the value, of course, backed by whales. Single buys as high as $495,000. So, it's not like Bitcoin buys, but still significant. And the bridge to Solana launches July 7th. The point of this is to take Solana scaling to the next level. See how it plays out, but really interesting. Everyone's coming to the same conclusion. You need at least one layer 2, one side chain, one kind of scaling solution. And for XRP, it's, we have that. So we do the complicated stuff off on the side chain, and we can do, our regular payments and transactions fast and cheap on the layer 1. Interesting approach. Stocks are coming on chain, starting with DeFi Development Corp. DeFi Development Corp is now the first U.S. listed company to be tokenized. It's going to be on the Solana blockchain via a partnership with Kraken. So Kraken jumping in here, tokenizing stocks. The tokenized stock will trade on Kraken's new X Stocks platform alongside Apple, Tesla, NVIDIA. Real-world stock, composable in DeFi, built on Solana for speed, low fees, bridges Wall Street and Web3, and this really could be a pivotal moment for on-chain capital markets. This is the future. We're going to have to see how quickly they can scale it up. But, BlackRock, they want to launch a fully autonomous exchange. They're in Texas, taking it all on chain. They want all of their ETFs, everything they have, they want represented on chain, on a ledger, traded in one of these autonomous systems. And they'll probably actually end up not just being on Ethereum, they'll be on a lot of chains. We've seen that with their tokenized treasuries as well. We had a lot of volatility out there, but one of the areas that's leading the recovery, AI tokens. So we see quite a few of them here. BitTensor, Game by Virtuals. I don't know all these ones. AI Tech, I don't know. But big gains coming out, ripping out of here. The rally reflects rising demand for decentralized AI compute, trading bots, and content tools. And, this is one of the sectors of crypto that I think will do very well this year, especially as we start getting GPT-5, and just a lot of hype around AI. And how do we merge this with blockchain? I think that's going to be, a blistering sector for crypto. Meme coins have been a little bit of a mixed bag, but we had Dogecoin and, well, Fartcoin doing pretty good here today. From AI to memes, smart money is kind of watching what's next and where the money will flow. I think AI is going to do great. The big news of the day, because of what's been going on in the Middle East, you had a lot of market turmoil. President Trump announced a complete and total ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Markets responded well. We saw oil drop. We saw indices go up quite a bit. A spike in U.S. futures. Asian markets opened higher. U.S. dollar kind of fell a little bit. And if the ceasefire holds, and that's the key, it could be a major turning point for us. Listen, we don't need permanent peace for what we're trying to accomplish here in crypto. We just need some runway. And, I would hope for permanent peace, but for our purposes of investing, if we get 6 months, a year, something like that, heck, we could do a lot of damage in that short amount of time. Tesla did really good today. Robotaxi launch, of course, triggers an 8% rally. Tesla just launched its long-awaited robotaxi service in Austin. They do have a rider in the car, but not behind the steering wheel. It's a safety rider there. And what they're doing here, if this works, if this really works at scale, I mean, think of it, you have those Waymos with $300,000 or $400,000 worth of equipment on them, and these Tesla cars, they have a 5 megapixel camera and 6 or 7 1.5 megapixel cameras, and you're able to do self-driving. That's nuts. Elon Musk called it the accumulation of a decade of work. And you have some people like UBS that remain cautious, say, yeah, long-term, it has huge potential. We'll see how it plays out. But Tesla, they took a big step up here. And as we move through the future, we're going to see more and more of this stuff. We will start moving much faster. It's going to be a wild ride for sure. And just kind of looking at the total markets out here, all U.S. indices are poised for solid gains. S&P, Dow, NASDAQ, Russell, they're all up almost at least 1%. The big sectors that are winning right now is tech, boosted by, of course, Tesla doing quite well, consumer discretionary, and financials. Again, everything's up quite a bit. The losing sectors, energy, because again, you had that big spike in oil, of course, and also utilities. A little bit of downside here. Is this a short-term bounce? Well, yeah, if the ceasefire does not stick, but otherwise, heck, this could be the start of a big, big run. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.